What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers play another young, athletic, versatile team that followed the formula in order to beat the Lakers and run them out of their home court in a game that the Lakers had a lot of advantages, right? Experience, playoff atmosphere, playing a young team. They don't have their best player, right? Like, if you were to make a checklist of all the things that the Lakers have to their advantage, it's like check, 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 check. But like I talked about in the breakdown and stuff like that leading into the game, Spurs have three guards that can apply pressure and just cause the Lakers a lot of issues, cause the Lakers a lot of struggles, and they did. And it's so frustrating to watch the Lakers continuously lose the same way over and over and over again. There's a formula to beating the Lakers, and the Lakers keep falling for it. And, the Lakers, again, they desperately need a trade. And, I get people regularly that leave comments that are like, why do you talk about so much trades? Stop talking about trades, right? Like, because we need them, right? Like, if the Lakers were OKC, I probably wouldn't be talking about trades. I'd be talking about all the other stuff, right? And I do still talk about other stuff, but I know, they know, everybody knows. The person sitting next to you right now, looking over your shoulder, listening to me talk, they know the Lakers need a trade, and the Lakers need to find a trade. Now, chances are trade's not going to happen tomorrow, right? We're getting close to December 15th, which is good. Hopefully, we get something done around there. I'm not expecting anything like, it's 12:01 December 15th. Something's going to get traded. I'm not expecting anything like immediate, but it would be nice if we could get something sooner rather than later, right? It'd be nice if we can get kind of that early trade, Dorian Finney-Smith, a Rui Hachimura type thing where we saw the Lakers kind of do that early trade and then kind of do the big trade once you get closer to the trade deadline. But, again, I still think the Lakers only really need like two guys. Obviously, if you can get more, get more. But I still think the Lakers need that high-end wing, and then they need that kind of second-tier wing. You could argue the Lakers really need a bench scorer, but I do think, depending on how the trades play out, you could potentially kill two birds with one stone, right? So choose Herb Jones as an example. Let's say you trade Maxi Kleber, Dalton Connect, and a first to go get, a Herb Jones. It's kind of the proposal that's been going around. Right? What that does is now you solve your 3-and-D wing. You also didn't trade Rui Hachimura, which means now Rui gets to go to the bench, which now boosts your bench production, boosts your bench scoring. But also you open up a roster spot to where you could bring somebody like a Nick Smith Jr. in, and again, boost your bench scoring, boost your bench spot, and then turn Gabe Vincent and whatever else into another piece. Can you go get a Keon Ellis or something, especially if you have a second? So now you solve your starting level 3. You go and get that second tier wing, but in the process, you knock Rui down to kind of that sixth man bucket getter off the bench, catch and shoot guy, floor spacer, all of that can slot in at the 4 now because he can get more minutes behind LeBron. And then you can also slot him at the 3. And then you also have, just somebody like a Nick Smith Jr. or something like that. So now let's say you pull off all the trades that I mentioned, right? Just humor me. Now you're starting 5. One is much more balanced, but now you have Luka, Austin Reeves, Herb Jones, LeBron James, and DeAndre. Much more balanced. Then your bench is Marcus Smart, Nick Smith Jr., Keon Ellis, Jake LaRavia, Rui Hachimura, and Jackson Hayes. So now you have, basically 6 guys off the bench that you can play and play a pivotal role for you, right? Now, add in Jared Vanderbilt, Adu Thero, and stuff, which they're out of the rotation. So, or Adu Thero, just the rookie. Jared Vanderbilt's like out of the rotation entirely. So probably I'd look to package him for something if you can too. But again, if you can get kind of those 2 guys, and then now you kind of start knocking everybody else down. Now Jake LaRavia goes from like your 7th guy to your 8th, 9th guy. And now Rui goes from your 5th guy to your 6th guy. And now you're adding, like, you're putting yourself in a better position, in a better balanced position. Now you have multiple guys that can come off the bench, score the basketball. You got a guy in, Nick Smith Jr. that wouldn't be so reliant on Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, right? Like, and that's not counting like the splash trade or the Giannis or whatever, right? If the Lakers end up pulling something like that off, but Lakers need to find something. They need to pull some type of rabbit out of their hat. Luckily, there's a lot of options on the market right now. There's a lot of teams that are going to start having some fire sales. There's a lot of teams that are going to just start to decide, like, okay, let's start picking a lane here. You're starting to hear a lot of teams potentially having fire sales and stuff. And once we get to that December 15th day and then beyond, teams will be more open and more willing to make those trades, right? Like right now, teams aren't really in a rush, right? And very rarely. I think it's only happened like a handful of times in like the history of the league. Like super early, like a trade happens in like November or early December. Like usually it's around that December 15th because you get a bunch of guys that become available and teams start. It's kind of like the marker, like the beginning of the trade season during the season, right? So it's like here's the marker for the trade season, and then from there to February. You start seeing some traction. Now, I would love 12:01, we wake up and something gets done. Realistically speaking, that's probably not going to happen. Usually the Lakers kind of, you see them marinate a couple days, but I'm hoping within like that week, right? We kind of see some traction. We see some trades. We see some moves. I mean, you're going to have a ton of rumors. You're going to have a ton of things. And, we'll talk about it. We'll explore different options and all the news and all that stuff. And, for those that are like, why do you keep talking about trades again? Watch the Lakers play, and all of a sudden you'll be like, you know what? You're right, Tyler. I like your trade videos, right? Like, you'd be surprised how many people. I've had several people be like, you know what? Like, kind of bothered me at first, but watching these Lakers, I'm on board. Keep talking, keep going, right? Like, again, it's just obviously it's fun to explore possibilities and potential stuff, and I enjoy the exploration. Look, even if the Lakers were OKC, I'd still be talking various explorations and stuff like that. Because again, this is a fan channel. I'm not an insider. I'm not some reporter or anything like that. I'm just a guy, just a fan, right? Like, sure, some of them are fantasy, some of them are whatever. But again, that's what fans are. You and me hanging out, chilling at a bar. What are we talking about? We're talking about like ways to improve the Lakers, guys we don't like, guys we like. Again, that's what this is, a fan channel where we're just exploring and diving into things and stuff like that. But it just so happens that not only is this a fan channel and it's fun to talk about that stuff and people genuinely like those conversations, Lakers also just so happen to need very badly some trades. So I'm really like, again, I don't think the Lakers are as bad as it may seem at times. I don't think the Lakers need as much as it may seem at times, right? Like, because I mean, you watch some of these games, right? Like the Spurs game, you're like, dude, trade everybody. Like, outside of like 4 guys, everyone can go, right? Like, trade Reeves, trade Rui, trade, whoever, right? All of them. Right? Everybody that's not Luka, LeBron James, DeAndre Ayton, and Marcus Smart, get rid of them, right? Like, but the reality is, like, again, I've said it a million times, right? Like, I've said it in past. Don't underestimate the value of 1 to 2 guys. This is basketball. This is the NBA, right? You don't have, 11, 12 guys out there, right? You don't have 15. Like, no, you have 5 guys out there. And if you significantly upgrade one of those 5, it's a huge difference maker, right? Like, that could be the difference between you being one of the 2 best teams in all of basketball or not, right? So, again, you get the right trade, the right move, the right fit. And like I said, you start knocking down and you start better balancing things out. You start knocking guys down the pecking order and stuff to a better natural slotted, position, not like, position, but like down the pecking order, right? All of a sudden it has that snowball effect. It has that, that first domino you knock over and it's just like this beautiful masterpiece, right? Because again, like I said, now Rui gets to go to the bench and you have that argument. He can be that scorer and all these things, right? Like, and then you bring in a Nick Smith Jr. and, again, you add in a Keon and you add in, a Herb Jones, and now you have Marcus Smart and Keon Ellis and Herb Jones and all these things to where you can have these cycles of guys. You can throw out these waves, right? One guy goes out, another guy comes in. Another guy goes out, another guy comes in. You can run 2 of them. You can run 3 of them, right? Guys have more athleticism. They have more speed. You can get out and transition. Have moments where like LeBron's on ball and he's just pushing the pace and getting the look ahead pass and all this stuff. And you just have those guys that can run and gun and keep up and get back in transition and all these things. All of a sudden you look up at this Lakers team and you're like, wow, this Lakers team is actually really good and solves a lot of their needs and solves a lot of issues. But again, it's just another game where you're like, you finish the game and you're like, yeah, Lakers need a trade and they need one badly. So we need to pull something. They need to pull a rabbit out of their hat. They need to do something because it's getting crazy at this point. So hopefully Lakers can get something done. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.